Hello and good evening, morning, afternoon, or whatever it is you're hearing this, or whenever. This is the OU Thought, the podcast, featuring yours truly, Mushroom Lord, followed by...
Mud.
Okay. We had this whole thing rehearsed, and then he just anyway.
I'm gonna be serious here. My name is Taylor Kesey, and we're gonna move on to my assistant here.
Assistant, bro.
It's supposed to be followed by. Thanks for flipping the fucking script.
Anyway, Sir Pix, followed by
Otaku Chef Mo, followed by
a very special guest from our fellow channel, KotakuOtaku. Make sure to like and subscribe them on social medias. Anyway, here he is.
It's your boy Juan in a Million. What's up, everybody?
Also check him out on SoundCloud and iTunes. You're on iTunes, right?
I don't think so. No,
I
wish.
I thought you were on iTunes.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's a rapper. Definitely check out his music as well as his affiliates. Enzo Pirates, right?
Yeah.
Check out
Enzo Pirates.
Yeah, we
SoundCloud.
Us indie people gotta look out for each other. Anyway, this is our first podcast, which will probably go up before our first skits because we're supposed to do skits, but our schedules
so behind.
So behind. And why are we behind? Let's talk about what's everybody been doing lately.
Work. More work. And school. And errands.
If you didn't know, Otaku Chef Mo is a master of errands.
On occasions.
Ever since we met you, you've always been about errands. But you know what? Fuck it. Let's start off that way. What's the most interesting errand you've ever been on?
And most interesting
errand you've ever been on.
I have to drive from north of Orlando, which is like somewhere on all the way to a pharmacy in Kissimmee to get milk of magnesia for my stepdad.
Milk of magnesia.
That is the most. Juan actually was there with me at one of these trips.
I thought that was for babies.
That was no. He was actually there.
He is a baby.
He's a grown man. He's a grown baby.
Pappy.
He's like
my milk.
He's like, oh, Pappy, I spilled my milk. I need my milk of magnesia.
A milk of magnesia.
I need a gift.
I'm gonna respect him right now.
I know. I love my stepdad. Don't get me wrong.
If like every time I see him, he's like, oh, Pappy, I need my milk.
Oh, I spilled it.
Yeah, that day was funny when he spilled the milk. That was like. Because I always joke about how he always says he needs his milk because he always drinks milk. So one day he actually spilled it, and I was dying of laughter because he kept saying, he's like, oh, I spilled it, Linda, keep helping me, I spilled my milk, and I was like, oh God, trying to hold it.
He's like, don't try.
And then it doesn't help that his mom is looking at me dying of laughter too. She was just laughing. I was like, man. Y'all are not helping. Y'all are bad.
Y'all are bad.
You're bad. He's like, you're bad. He uses it so many times just because, don't get me wrong, every old person thing has it. Everyone has constipation. That's basically it. Because he's constipated, he used milk of magnesia. So I had to go from one end of the city to the other end because they have his subscribed milk of magnesia.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
that was an hour and 15 minutes. That was an hour and a half trip in one city.
Pasteurized to rule them all.
But Gandalf, why can't you go get the ring?
Because I can't touch it. Why? Because the plot requires it.
Let's talk about it.
Lord of the Rings, the quest of the magnesia.
Gabe finally saw it.
What?
He finally saw Lord of the Rings.
Please tell me you have something positive.
So he's almost 3 for 3. He's almost 3 for 3 because it's like
about it.
He hadn't seen Star Wars and he saw it, and now he's like the biggest Star Wars fan. And then he finally saw Harry Potter because his girlfriend Melina, she bought all the Harry Potter movies on Blu-ray on Black Friday. He saw them all except for Goblet of Fire. Goblet of Fire didn't come in the DVD in the Blu-ray box.
How does that make
sense? They had to watch it digital with the fucking code shit. And then now he finally saw Lord of the Rings, but he's only seen the first one because he hasn't had time,
Yeah, well, I mean, those movies take time.
They take time, but are they worth the time?
Yes.
Aren't they, Juan? Person who's never seen Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Oh, wait, you never have?
Yeah,
never has it. He's waiting for me to apparently throw some type of Lord of the Rings party.
Because, he has
we have to.
Like, for all of us to, like, go ahead and see it.
You know more about the Lord than I think anyone.
The lore and the Rings.
The lore of the Lord of the Rings.
I'm gonna dress up as
I've read the Silmarillion, niggas.
That's what I'm saying. I'd rather, wouldn't you rather be with somebody who's knowledgeable about the lore of a franchise rather to be, I don't know. Like I'd rather I don't know. Like if I have questions, I have someone who can answer them.
Yeah.
So I can be like,
nigga. You said that shit.
Yeah, but don't be that guy that like you're gonna ask a question about something that's about to come up.
Oh no,
you know
no,
what I mean?
no. I always like that. I always like to leave.
That's how you get.
Unlike some people who like to talk during the movie.
Oh wait a second. No, wait, what?
I'm trying to get emotional in Logan, and this nigga just jumps on me. He's like, I'm like, nigga, I'm trying to cry.
no, this is what he did. He's like, oh my god, both ones are crying right now. And I'm turning over like, fuck you up, you know, shut the fuck up.
And also, I think
you were there, yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
This nigga's like,
it's funny because that week also when we went to go see Logan, it was not just Otaku Deer here who messed up. It was also Taylor Kizzy here who fell asleep
during the movie.
He fell asleep.
You know, guys, the fact that he fell asleep throughout Logan, it's kind of a disrespect.
It was
like,
to put it into context. It was the scene where the Reavers came to take Laura, and then he's like, we came for the girl, and then Logan just starts cutting people up, and then it's that car chase. He was asleep during that whole fucking sequence where she fucking showed up.
I want to say for the record.
Hold on.
I am one of the biggest Wolverine fans.
Shut the fuck up.
By the way, if you can also imagine a movie theater, if you know the way he sleeps, what you hear.
Yo.
Like, you know,
that's all you, buddy.
And the sound, to be honest, the sound wasn't that good in the theater because we could still hear you fucking snore. You know, Hugh Jackman gets fucking loud when he's like, you hear.
Bro, his face is red.
I think
like it goes woo.
I think I was the only person that didn't hear him, but it was because I was actually watching the movie and I was so interested in everything.
Yeah, see, I was on the.
We were interested in.
You're right next to it.
Yeah, I was on the far end with Destiny actually. It's not until like I noticed someone over there's like.
I looked at Brock. I looked at Brock because I tried to hit Brock because I was beside Jorge and Akil. I'm like, yo, bro. Look at Akil and all Brock's face. He looks down. He's like, "What is he doing?"
I'm like, he's weak. He's weak.
Pathetic.
Oh, no, because he's like, for those of you who don't know, Akil loves X-Men. That's his thing. That's his series, and he's such a diehard X-Men fan, and
he slept in Logan.
But to your credit, you're not really, you have your gripes about Fox's interpretation of the X-Men universe, like I do as well.
Oh, I have so much.
He has so much.
But Days of Future Past, I think, made it.
Days of Future Past was close.
Well, here's my point. If we're gonna go into movies, and I like that. Days of Future Past as a film. I've seen both the Road Cut and the original cut. Both are pretty good. Road Cut just makes Rogue look like she's a badass. Like, yo, get out my way, bitch. Like, legit. No, the film legit says, hey, let's actually change the plot a little bit, but still keep it the same way by introducing Rogue, because, Rogue was cut out the movie, because they're like, oh, she's barely in the movie. I'm like, actually, she's a major part to making sure that they get to the end of the film, but you feel like it's really just kind of tacked on to have another X-Men character there. But in all cases, I don't like Peter Dinkleberry as the. I'm sorry, he's a great actor, but Peter Dinkleberry did not need to be motherfucking
Oliver Trask.
We're talking about Peter Dinklage,
Peter
right?
Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, Mr. Rhino with the new commercial with the Doritos.
I when I saw that, I was like.
But guys, would you like to know a secret?
Yeah, it's just I don't know.
And it's not because he's short. He's a great actor.
But would you like to know a secret?
What's the secret?
The character actually already appeared in an X-Men movie prior to Days of Future Past. Doesn't no one notice? He was in X-Men: The Last Stand.
Yeah, he was a black guy.
He was the black guy who was with the government.
Wow.
That was Oliver Trask. That was him. Yeah, and because
Are they supposed to connect?
So I'm guessing he had like a huge sunburn.
He had a growth spurt, and he started watching Soul Train, and he was like, "Fucking Pan-Africanism."
And not only that, he also lost his voice halfway down the line. Yeah, and it's like, Trash, what happened to your bowl cut and your goatee? I don't need my goatee anymore.
He said, give me the steroids. I need the steroids.
He was like, I retired my goatee when we put Tupac to rest. R.I.P. Shakur.
That's another thing. Shakur
would be amazing. Shakur, I just think like because he was gonna be he was gonna be in Phantom Menace. Can you just imagine like how his film career would have taken off? Because Cube's like Ice Cube is Cube. He's in everything. But like, can you imagine if like fucking Tupac as like Mace Windu? Or as fucking Bishop, if Bryan Singer had never touched X-Men.
I would love him saying, so the prophecy says.
So the prophecy says.
So here we go.
So the prophecy says.
No, I would just want to say, so you say Tupac, right? You said Tupac.
Yeah.
Imagine if Notorious B.I.G. was still alive and they remember that horrible Daredevil movie?
Oh, if he was Wilson Fisk.
If he was.
Yo.
I swear.
That would have been crazy.
It was so died.
Or if he was in Luke Cage. Although that would have been weird because like.
Who is he going to be in Luke Cage?
He'll be the fucking painting on the wall. So he'll be a 3D painting. Stark Industries, they make holographic paintings where you actually see the subject, like in Harry Potter, and the subject tells you your story. It's like like it was all a dream. I used to read a word of man. Oh, Biggie, calm down. Hologram be calm down. Luke Cage is fucking up my business. Why didn't Luke Cage just bust through the door? He's like, hey, oh my God, hologram, Biggie, what's up? How's it going? Because we, if you haven't noticed, this show really loves hip hop music.
Yeah, I know, like Method Man, and that's which is a great scene from
that. That was so cool. Yeah, I kind of freaked out a little bit.
You know what I said to myself?
It's you. No, man, it's you. Bro, it's like what? I forgot what he said. What was the album he said with Method Man?
36 Chambers, man.
36 Chambers.
Yeah, 36 Chambers. No, we know it wasn't Wu-Tang Forever because I don't know.
Wu-Tang Forever.
I mean, I love Wu-Tang Forever, but some people are like, no, it was too long and it was 4 sides, and I'm just like, well, you needed a nickel for it. I'm like, no, you do. I have it on vinyl, and I had to put the nickel. I had to tape the nickel to the thing so it goes deep.
That's why RZA did Afro Samurai. He saved all of his talent for Afro Samurai.
Shit, I would love that one on vinyl. That was a great
Afro
soundtrack.
Samurai soundtrack.
Which one? Resurrection or
no, both. Resurrection had a really good song in it. It was really good.
Afro Samurai.
What,
remember the
with
the Samuel Jackson?
It was in the trailer.
Yeah,
it was in the trailer, but it was really good.
That's another thing. I love the Afro Samurai.
I own it. I own Afro Samurai. I remember the first time Mo went to my house. He's like, hey Mo, look where I have all my movies. And you're like, you have Afro Samurai? Yeah, it's right next to Blade Runner and Sin City. And you're like, oh shit.
I wish I could say the same for the games though.
But you don't like the Afro Samurai?
I wish I could say the same for the Samurai games because they're fucking horrible.
The first game was okay.
You guys remember Onimusha?
The second game.
We're like, I'm gonna be a samurai, and you play as a fucking ball.
Which one? What?
Onimusha. No, not Onimusha. It wasn't Onimusha. Onimusha's a shit, but there's another one where it's like, I forgot what it was. It was from the same people who did Dynasty Warriors, and wow, Brock's going so far into the past. He knows about gaming.
It's the Cosmic King.
That's the first.
The King of the Cosmos.
It was kind of like the Kanamatatui. Is that what it's called?
Katamari?
Katamari. It's kind of like Katamari, where
you mean Prince of the Universe? Katamari?
Yeah, but it's like you're samurai, and it's like balls, and you're just. But anyway, it's off topic.
So Samurai Katamari Damacy?
Kind of like that, yeah.
So it's like you on a Saturday night.
Yeah,
it's so Japanese. It's so awesome.
I make huge bar out of junk and I roll around.
Like that's the thing. It kind of annoyed the piss out of me. Like I looked at it and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Pikmin was more entertaining.
Actually, yeah.
Or you gather more people.
Yeah, you're gathering more people. You're making a covenant.
See,
you're making a covenament. Yeah.
Here's the thing about
it's the ultimate Jewish game made by Japanese people. They're taking your covenant. You know what's so funny? My mom asked me today. She's like, "What are you doing?" We're doing a podcast. She's like, "Oh, like a radio show?" I was like, "Yeah, like a radio show." She's like, "Oh, you better not offend anybody." I'm like, "Why? You're in school." Because she always says that you're in school. If they see that you're doing these things and you're saying mean things about people, or you're saying racist shit, you could lose your standing in school. And I'm like,
okay.
It's comedy. No one is safe.
Nobody's safe.
First of all, here's this one bitch.
Here's this one bitch. What? I thought we were gonna leave relationships.
Wait, so I just want to say one thing as a reminder. First of all, we love everyone, by the way.
Yeah, we love everyone.
We love everyone. We don't hate people around here.
Yeah.
We just like the crack on everyone.
You know what? I don't even hate Trump anymore. I mean, I don't like him, but it's not that I hate him. Because I feel like hating him is part of the problem.
I don't hate people. I will dislike him.
Yeah. I mean,
I root for him.
He's a bureaucrat. I don't respect him. That's the thing. But I feel like he's such a normal trashy guy that I feel like he has to have a moment where he's just like, he wakes up and it's like, the ghost of Christmas past or some shit, where he's like, I'm doing such a horrible job. What am I doing? What am I doing? Why didn't I clap for myself at the State of the Union? Nancy Pelosi, what's wrong with your face? I don't know if you saw it. I saw it for like a few minutes when my dad was watching it, and the whole time he was like, ugh. That was it the whole time. He put the dog to sleep because I guess he didn't want the dog to witness such horribleness. He's like, no. I'm like, what's he talking about, Dad? Like,
There's something I want to say though. Back when he was starting his campaign, when he was saying that China's taking our jobs, and I'm like, we had to bring everything American made. Yeah. I was at Marshalls and Ross with my fam. And I was looking at I think his wife's like clothing line. Yeah. Vanga's from school. I don't know if it's his wife or his daughter.
Shit, you sound real.
But I know, right? So clothing line, and I looked at the made by like, Ivanka Trump. So he was like, it's Ivanka Trump clothing. Oh, that's wonderful. And I said, made in China. Yep. Can someone explain to me what's going on here? If he's saying it's taking jobs.
Because spoiler alert, they didn't take the jobs. We gave them the jobs. We threw the jobs at them, man. Like, literally.
Yeah, because to be honest, those type of jobs. To be honest, nobody wanted them.
Exactly.
So those are those factory jobs that you leave them. They're like paying like cents on the hour, and that's it.
You know, because it's all the kids in India. Like all the Disney clothes are made by kids in India. They're like, oh yes, I know how much I make today. You make a quarter. Fuck it, it's a quarter. You know that will get me good stuff. That will get me food for the day. You know, that will food for the day. It's true.
We crap on everybody.
It's true.
We shit on everyone, but
it's not racism, it's an impression. I mean,
talking about
racism is like, well, okay, wow, it's a pretty deep discussion.
Because it's not we're not saying forcefully.
We're not oppressing anybody, Mr. Tumblr.
No. You know who's oppressing somebody?
I'm sorry, did I assume your gender? I called you Mister. I assumed your gender. Anyway,
you know who's oppressing somebody?
Who's oppressing somebody?
The freaking
Young Money and
the
Drake?
Golden Globes.
The Golden Globe? Oh no, fuck that shit.
Hey, what's comedy of the year, guys?
Get Out.
Atlanta?
Get Out. Get Out was nominated Best Movie, Comedy or Musical.
Get Out was comedy?
Musical, yeah.
Musical?
Comedy or musical. That's a category. Comedy or musical. And
Get Out was a comedy.
But let me tell you something, because I know about the Golden Globes because I'm a journalism major for the time being. The thing about the Golden Globes is that, unlike the Academy, they're made up of a bunch of random people. They're called the Hollywood Foreign Press. Now, the Hollywood Foreign Press, what do you think they're made up of when you hear that name? Hollywood Foreign Press.
Rich, Hollywood living Caucasians.
No, they're people. No, they're people. They're people. The thing is, they're people who just work in Hollywood. Believe it or not, there's a lot of bussers. There's a lot of lawyers. There's a lot of just random ass people. Fucking truck drivers. Fucking are members of the Hollywood Foreign Press. And the thing about it is that since they're right before the Oscars, although technically the BAFTAs are right before the Oscars, and the BAFTAs are a very much more serious organization. I mean, they're on the BBC. The BBC is one of the most trusted news organizations of all time. But anyway, until now. But the thing with the Golden Globes is that it's really just for ratings more than anything. Like they want to stir up controversy on purpose, and they just have to nominate Meryl Streep. They just have to have some bougie ass shit. And the Cecil B. DeMille Award, which I don't think is a bad award. It's like, hey, you do good. You're actually a decent person. You're like Matt Damon. He helps build wells in Africa, and which is a pretty cool thing to do. And George Clooney, he just exists, and he just exists. And Oprah, she helps little girls in Africa allegedly.
And doesn't Leo also he just claim it?
And doesn't get Monique jobs.
And doesn't get Monique jobs.
And now she wants to boycott Netflix because she's not. She apparently thinks she's worth $1 million. What's your points on all this? Because I really want to talk.
Maybe.
Who's Monique?
Okay.
That's my point.
Funny enough, exactly. Like I'm with him on that one. Like when he was like, what does Monique Jobs think she's worth this much? I'm like,
who remembers Precious?
I've never seen Precious.
You've never seen?
I've never seen Precious.
That's another part.
That's the thing.
Are you serious?
I've just never it's never been on Netflix. Never been on Hulu.
I believe
nothing.
She got an Oscar for that role.
She
won an
Oscar. Who
Oscar.
else was nominated that year?
For Precious.
That was just a very strong year.
Mariah Carey was even in it. That's what's crazy. Dude, I forget who it was, but Precious is.
Yeah.
That was the last great, like, before that, of course, she had that TV show.
Lenny Kravitz was in it.
Lenny Kravitz.
Lenny Kravitz was in it.
You know who else was in it? Freaking, Robin Thicke's ex-wife.
Oh, Paula Patton.
Yes.
Moment of silence. Anyway, continue.
she played
She played an orc. She even in Warcraft.
Yeah.
one of my favorite movies of all time. Honestly.
Wait, she was the orc in Warcraft?
She was the orc in Warcraft.
I still don't know this woman.
Paula Patton.
She's hot.
She was in Warcraft.
So you gotta know.
She was in Mission Impossible. Ghost Protocol.
Yes.
Was it Ghost
She
Protocol?
even looked good in green.
She was good. Oh yeah, with the fucking fucking fangs and shit. Damn.
She like, dang girl.
Yeah. She
You can buy me with those.
Yeah, I still don't know. I got.
Did you not see Warcraft or not?
I still haven't seen Warcraft.
It's fantastic.
It's a great movie.
It's
really
good.
movie.
Thank you, China.
I love it.
I still haven't seen
Well,
Days
never
of
get a
Futures
sequel.
Past. I still haven't seen
Damn,
Warcraft. There's a lot of movies I haven't seen.
Well,
I haven't even seen Coco.
I'm right there with you.
I've
I'm right there.
never seen Coco! I'm actually mad.
Well, I haven't seen Coco.
I
I
haven't
because
seen it either.
my
don't
thing
think
was
anybody
like
here
my
seen
thing was like I can
My
really.
family's seen it.
My
I'm
thing
not.
was I can really only go to the movies twice in November. I can, so I
Isn't
said
it
Star
also
Wars?
months?
I know it's Star Wars in December, so I'll do Thor and I'll do Justice League.
I'm not trying to
'cause
cry
I
in
kind
the
of have
theaters,
to.
I'm not trying to. I know that movie makes people cry. I heard great
when
things.
you get to that scene, man, like you're just gonna be
Bro,
like,
it ain't Toy Story 3.
It's when you're a Latino, you watch Coco. It relates.
That's-
Well.
that's not the
Well,
case.
if you're Cuban or Puerto Rican, maybe you can relate, maybe not. Because
Not even. Isn't it like fully Mexican?
it's really
Yeah.
Mexican, and that's kind of my thing.
Yeah,
Because
'cause
it's like there's more to Latin America than just
True.
Mexico. I mean, you're kind of just giving you're giving Fox News more fuel, basically, by making everything Mexican.
Yeah.
Not that we don't like Mexican culture, but if I'm being completely honest, we're kind of tired of like.
It's the only
Mexican-
portrayal. It's the
Yeah,
only,
I mean, us Puerto Ricans, us Colombians, us Dominicans, us Nicaraguans, we're kind of like we want us. We want to see us.
Yeah, like I mean, yeah, I mean, think about something like also like
Outside of New York.
Yeah, I mean, like think about like even like let's think about also like with Colombians as well, like
Yeah.
like me and Mo for example, like what is it? The only thing you would know about a Colombian probably like here, like
It's
let's
the
say
cocaine.
Cocaine.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, it's like coffee and a good cocaine joke supposedly.
It's like
good being
majority
like,
of the
yeah.
joke cocaine and then 25%
and,
coffee.
And Pablo Escobar.
And
And Pablo Escobar.
That's what cocaine.
How many people start
That's
saying,
what
"Oh, look, it's
cocaine."
Pablo Escobar"? I'm like,
And
you want a
if they know, Shakira.
No, see, no, that's like okay. Let's
She's
say,
a national treasure.
let's say Colombian information.
yes,
Let's do it
she
like
is.
this: 100%, right?
Yeah.
Let's say 10% is coffee and culture of Colombia.
Yeah.
20% is Shakira or Sofia Vergara from
Yes.
because she's
No,
in that
you're
what was
right.
the one Modern Family.
Modern Family.
So there's your 30%,
Yeah.
and the 70% of Colombian information is either Pablo Escobar, narcos, or cocaine.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it's
I mean,
basically.
there's so much more. Like, do you know how much? Like, I don't know, man. They delve into like so much. Like, let's say even
I think
like
that's-
with like what do you call it? Even like with like tribes and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm like, do you know like with Colombia, like
Yeah.
old native tribes and stuff? Like, there's some interesting
There's
stuff.
lots of
in that
mythology.
The land bridge.
There's a lot of mythology.
The land bridge after towards the end of the Ice Age, like a lot of them came from Asia. Like really,
Exactly.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, they went pretty much all over the place.
Another fact,
It's
also,
so
I must say this is because we have another fellow Caribbean, Akil,
Trinidadian. Yeah.
Trinidad and Tobago.
I
Is
mean,
there anything besides Nicki Minaj and half
my
of what was it? Who's Cardi B? Half of Cardi B's Trinity too?
No, Cardi B is
No.
Dominican.
Oh, pure
Yeah, she's
Dominican. So,
I mean, it's kind of obvious
so Nicki
at this
Minaj.
point
So
that
it's
she's.
pure Nicki Minaj
yeah.
then. Besides Nicki Minaj, does anyone know about Trinidad and Tobago? Besides Nicki Minaj.
I know where it is. I can point it out on a
Yeah,
map.
I don't know
I can
that.
point it out on a
I
map.
just know people who are from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just say, hey, from Trinity. It's like cool.
Like, I'm aware if the place exists.
Like, oh yeah, you're aware.
I'm not.
it
I'm
exists,
not.
but who-
I'll be honest. I'm pretty ignorant about.
I know there's a lot of
Culture.
booty, and because of
lot of
that, I
good
need to go
food.
one day.
Akil, could you please explain?
All right, so here's the thing about Trinidad. Since it's more attuned to more of the what do you call it, the West Caribbean, the like West Indian side of the Caribbean, it's more to itself. So like you have to be in tune with soca and
I'm sorry. He keeps moving his water,
Yeah.
and all I hear is the gushing.
and just, they got a microphone.
Yeah, so please
Yeah,
continue.
so-
Please continue.
Focus.
So yeah, the soca, the calypso, it's really a musical type of country, and also the food. It's mostly known for food. You're not gonna be looking for like your major artist that's from there.
Yeah.
You're probably maybe looking for your major actors that's from there, which I can't name at the moment.
Oh.
But there are so many.
Because I'm tired as hell.
We should have an intern to Google all this stuff.
With Trinidad and Tobago.
We should have an intern. Who could be our intern?
No, there's a couple
Gabe?
actors that we know.
Gabe. Yeah, well, Gabe works at Publix. They won't let him intern. Publix won't even let him leave the state.
Damn.
No, that's wrong.
That is sadly true.
It's like, sorry, man, you're a manager. It's like,
Must admit though, Trinidad and Tobago has delicious doubles.
They have great
Yes.
food. I love going to Trinidad just for the food, and
I had the shark.
mostly
That shark
for,
bake.
what do you call it? First carnival.
Is it called that?
Yeah,
The shark
bacon
bake?
shark.
Oh, that was great.
Oh yeah.
I just want more food from there, man. Like, cause like that like when we went to that one place.
Yeah, we
last
had
time
Chinese.
to eat. Like,
Wait,
yeah, we
what?
went to Chinese.
You and me had
at a roti
Chinese.
shop.
Yeah. But I tried
That's
doubles.
normal.
Chinese
Like,
at a
the
roti
doubles were
shop.
Hold up.
great.
Here's something that people don't know about Trinidad. Kind of like Jamaica. They have a huge Asian community, just as much as they have a big mixed community. It's not just black and it's not just Indians. You know, like the Indians is mixed. Like you will see a pure black person go to like a Chinese restaurant and the Chinese chick, and I'm talking about straight. You know, this could be sounding real racist, but straight yellow. All right, but of course I'm not racist anyways. But yeah, she'll be like, holy
Starting to
crap,
sound like
hey
Tumblr.
cousin, how you been? How's the kids? How's my little munchkin? And you're just kind of saying, wait, you family? And you're like, yes, we're actually family. But you thought I was just joking around. I'm like, no, I don't know. I'm like, I'm not from here. I'm just visiting. And they're like, yeah, this is normal. And funny enough, one of my cousins is actually she's Chinese. Well, she's Chinese black, and her mom
Blasian.
She's Blasian.
Nice.
And her mom, her grandmother is basically for a second generation, but first generation Chinese, but second generation Asian. So like her family traveled from China to Trinidad, but they first took a stop at Venezuela because that's where the family originates.
The OG border jumping.
Yes.
The invisible strings.
They knew the future. They knew the future right away. They knew what was gonna happen. They're like, we like Venezuela, but we have to move before things get really bad.
Thanks, Maduro.
But hell, what can I tell you? Even the Venezuelan people know, because there's so many Venezuelans in Trinidad. You would swear the next language is gonna be Spanish. So
you think it's Aruba? That's how bad it is. You think it's Aruba?
You know, it's funny. I don't know. I love geography, but Aruba's like the one place I can never point out.
Are you serious? It's right by Trinidad. It's right above Venezuela and Colombia.
It's even
Aruba and
smaller.
Curacao. They actually speak Spanish. Where their main language is that, and they have a language called Pavamiento.
Yeah, Pavamiento. Yeah.
Which is just a mix of Spanish, Portuguese, and Dutch.
Oh damn.
Which is really interesting. It's actually really dope.
Wow. It's funny because my great grandfather was English of Dutch descent. And I love Brazilian women, so I can relate.
Who doesn't love Brazilian?
Everyone loves Brazilian women. I mean, look at Tom Brady.
I wish you guys were here right now. Just look at One in a Million's face. He just looks so disappointed.
No, dude, he's so chill right now. He's not so British because you said.
I mean, you just don't know him outside of the context of like they're in your store. Or they're at your job and they're being annoying.
Yes,
that's true.
But they're great. They're great people. Brazil's a great country. They make all their own technology. Actually, that's the thing, which is weird. I'm kind of like, why are they here?
Precisely.
At Best Buy? Why are they?
They're like the next Japan.
They're like the next Japan. Next Japan. Well, I mean,
Brazil and Japan does have a close relationship. Like,
oh, I know.
I mean,
hardcore.
Well, they make really great.
They're another country that has a very strong Asian community, much like Trinidad and Jamaica.
Right. Japan and South America in general, that whole connection is ridiculous.
I mean, Fujimori. For those of you who don't know, long story short, I'm sure if you're fans of Rage Against the Machine, you probably heard of El Sendero Luminoso. Tom Morello actually has Sendero Luminoso on one of his guitars, because you don't know. But Sendero Luminoso, they were kind of like this guerrilla group in Peru, and they were causing trouble. They were making drugs as guerrilla fighters do post 1975. And Fujimori was the president, and they're like, Fujimori, please help us get rid of these people. He's like, okay, fine, I'll do it. So he created a death squad, and he murdered them all.
Oh my goodness.
And then they're like, no, not like that. He's like, what do you mean not like that? And they threw him in jail. He's been in jail ever since, and he basically goes to court like every year. Like every year he's in court.
Wait,
for parole. He's like, can I get my parole now? In fact, I remember the last time, I think it was like, this is before I moved down here. This might have been 2012, early 2012, 2011. I saw him. He was like It was like he was like Anthony Hopkins in that one movie where he's his own lawyer and he's just drawing shit. He's literally he's in court. He's just drawing shit. Like Fujimori, you paying attention? He's like oh yeah, see. Fuck you. What do you say? No, no dije nada. No dije nada.
Dame mi ceviche.
No dije nada.
Dame mi ceviche.
Hay pollo. Hay pollo aquí.
Hay sopa de pollo.
Encanta el pollo. Yeah. But yeah, and it's funny enough, his daughter she's been running for president for a while.
Yeah,
but, I mean, I think the name alone is enough to drive some people away. But I mean,
yeah, I think it's just a mixed review. It's one of those like you can't decide good. Because for me, if you think about it, in the good side, yeah, because you're solving the problem. Bad side, it's still murder people. It's like Batman trying killing him with two easy.
I mean, it's like Game of Thrones.
It's like assigning the Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's one of those instances where you have to, and I mean, it's not like humanity hasn't done that before. I mean, we used to like, I mean, this fucking country we live in, it's like people, they had to kill people. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, we want our own country, over our dead bodies, Yankees.
Well, they didn't.
I mean, they had to. I mean, they had to go to war. They had to kill people, and I mean, it's like that's the only way to get rid of those people. I mean, I don't like the idea. I mean, I like to believe in diplomacy, and I like to believe in hey, what do you want? No, you can't have that. Is there something else you want? No, you can't have that either. Well, let's keep talking. Let's see what could we give you? Like, why are you mad? That's the thing. That's the thing. I was like, why are you mad?
That's all economy now is.
Yeah.
It's basically you're haggling. You're haggling.
Yeah, you have to haggle.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But the thing it's so bad because you're haggling with people's lives.
But like the point I'm trying to make, like the fucking election 2016. It's like why are you mad? Why do you feel that you have to support this guy who literally has no political experience? And why are you mad at this woman who like you keep saying lock her up, but why? And don't say Benghazi because that's not a valid argument because most people don't even know where that is.
Well, we'll talk about her emails.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Like, but her emails. Did you read her emails? No, but you know.
No, but.
Yeah, but I mean, she is a criminal. I'll be the first to admit it. I mean, she has done some shady shit.
I don't know if anyone knows this too, but Donald Trump's father was actually a member of the KKK.
Yeah, he was.
I don't know if anyone knew
this
history, but he kind of helps. Well, this is what I read. Anyone can read and follow with your own beliefs, but supposedly he kind of like moved because I think they're from the Bronx.
They are from
the
Bronx.
So they left the Bronx.
Yeah.
And kept all the minorities, give them housing straight to the Bronx. Supposedly not to mix with people in Manhattan, which I find kind of...
And that's how the Bronx became the Bronx.
And that's how the Bronx became the Bronx. Yeah. It became like the Caribbean.
I'm like, the Bronx.
So I'm like, that's what they say. If you think about it, I'm like, so you're electing either a criminal or a racist, you know?
Well, the thing is, I don't think Trump's a racist. I just think that he just doesn't know. He's one of those people, like, he just doesn't know.
He's just flat out an idiot.
Yeah.
That's literally all he is.
Yeah, it's like he just doesn't know because, I mean, that's the thing. Like we've all had friends, black, white, Asian, or otherwise, who just, like, you just don't know about other people's cultures because you just don't know, you know. Like, they like to call it accidental racism, but I like to remove racism from that conversation entirely. It's just that they just don't know. And I feel that Trump just doesn't know. He just doesn't know what it's like to be a normal person. I mean, he used to shit in golden toilets. I mean,
hell, remember his hard life, you know, the small loan of $1 million.
It's a hard life, man. Yeah, it's funny how he was criticizing Meryl Streep for her political opinion, which she absolutely has every right to. And she's like, oh, she's out of touch. She's a celebrity. She's out of touch. I'm like, this is coming from the fucking guy who shits in a golden toilet.
Yeah.
a guy who had to pay shipping and handling for his wife. Melania, okay, she's really pretty. Hold on, let me. Honey, how do I select? You hit enter. Okay, hit enter. Oh, I gotta pay for shipping and handling. I'll pay for shipping. Don't they have Prime?
Try to go by the euros now.
Go by the euros.
They bought her off.
Of dollars to euros.
They bought her off. You know, Build a Beer Workshop.
Build a wife workshop.
There you go.
There you go.
Build a Wife Workshop.
Over in Moscow.
Well, speaking of Build a Wife Workshop, since I kind of want to move away from politics, but it's always fun. It's always fun to make fun of Trump. Anyway, since you mentioned Build a Wife Workshop, well, now we're gonna have sex robots now. So I mean, I don't know. I'm like, did these people not see Blade Runner? Did they not see Terminator?
See,
this does not end well. It's so this does not end well.
Yeah, I mean, more than anything, I'm more interested in Mo's opinion on this.
Oh yes.
I'll let Juan answer.
Well, no, you sit down here. You sit down. You sit down. You can plead the fifth if you want to.
I'll let Juan.
You can plead the fifth. I thought you had no shame.
No, I don't.
I thought you accepted it because okay. Long story short, Mo is a very big fan of anime. Like I think pretty much everyone at this round table, we all love anime. But Mo loves. No, he's like Mo loves anime in a different way. Mo. I mean, cause he admits it. Mo likes hentai. I mean, I'm not gonna kink shame him because we all have our things. Mo likes hentai.
We all started there.
You know, we all started there because we all thought at one point that an anime character was attractive and had big titties, and we're like, let me see if I can find it on the internet. You know, dude. I mean, we've all been there at some point. I'm pretty sure there's viewers right now
it's an art form, guys. It's an art form.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Guys and girls or whatever in between. You know, every now and then you like seeing some dirty stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But Mo likes animated dirty stuff.
Yeah, you know.
So and
that's just it. You know, Mo likes hentai. He likes furries. What else can you do?
Are we just all just?
Hello, welcome to.
You never told me that.
Welcome to Sexual Anonymous.
We live in the same. We live down the same road, and you never told me that. That is not
no. Okay, look. Let's not bring up like
back to the
please.
So, but my thing is like everybody's like, oh, blah blah blah, that's not good. But I'm like, well, I mean, fuck it. I mean, we're at a point where like you can't even talk to people at the club. People don't go to the club to hook up anymore.
Yeah.
You know, they just go to dance, and it's like people don't want to socialize anymore.
It's this virtual dating thing that's gay. It's not like like back when even I would say this, even though I was a kid in the 90s and grew up in like the early 21st century, the cell phone wasn't even that made it. You actually go up to someone, to hang out and be like, oh, you want to go out on a date, want to hang out versus friends. It was that personal face-to-face talk. Yeah. This whole dating apps thing, I just don't get it. I kind of, if you think about it, romanticism is kind of dead now.
Well, it's not that it's dead. It's just that it's changed.
But I want to hear Juan. I do want to hear Juan's though, because he found his lovely fiance on Twitter.
To bring you up to speed, Juan has a fiance and he's going to get married.
Let's all clap, everyone.
So those of you at home or on your phone or listening to this on the toilet, in your car, wherever have you. If you congratulate him virtually. But yeah, I mean, as an almost married man, how do you feel about this? You know,
about robot people?
No, about sex bots.
Sex bots.
Not the kinds that are on Tumblr who keep annoying you, but like actual physical robots you can buy.
Not the ones on Tinder.
Be gone, thought bots.
It's fine if you want to spend your money on that. Whatever, it's your life. Do whatever you want. I don't agree with romanticism being dead, because it's just a lot of people are I feel like I mean, you could say technology could be a huge impact on the way we communicate with each other. I do see a lot of people not taking that many risks when it comes to like getting with people, like trying to talk to people. But I can't talk shit because I've met my fiance on Twitter, so it doesn't like and there's this argument where people say, oh, you met her on Twitter, so that means it's good. Like, what? That makes no sense. Like, I could have met her on Tinder, or I could have met her anywhere. Like, and it probably would have been the same shit.
Yeah, it's
still a dating.
You could have met her at Post. You're like, oh shit, you like blue cheese too?
Yeah. See,
you like the seafood
salad?
It
does not matter. See, look,
we'll get to that in a minute, Mo.
Don't let a location, a place, and a time determine, like where you can find love or when you can find love and stuff like that. It just happens.
I'm sorry to ruin your speech, but Akil literally just fell asleep.
I'm sorry. What's with that head shaking?
Dang, you a gangster. You're like, I don't need no romantic shit.
I already got sound.
But anyway, but considering that
he's too busy. Getting that Starkist tuna.
White albacore oil.
All right, let me just
that bumblebee that you get all around.
That boy can't get no salmon.
Let me just stop us for a real quick minute. Yeah. So there's one thing that we have to say about the OU Thought crew plus One in a Million from Kotaku.
Well, he is. Well, I mean, he'll have to act in something eventually. I mean, we're running out of people.
We're losing our resources.
Losing our resources.
We have connects.
Yeah, we have a lot of inside jokes.
We have a lot of inside jokes, so it's gonna take some time.
I mean, if y'all want to make,
are you trying to explain the salmon thing?
Oh yeah,
So
if y'all want to make T-shirts,
this is a great story that me and Warren
basically, he was having an issue with this girl, and I had to explain to him in a way that we can understand. So I labeled the type of women that we encounter in this world, and women. You can do the same with men too. So it's totally fine. But the way I see it is salmon being the top finesse, top of the line fish that you eat, like once in a blue moon. That's that shit. Like, damn, that shit's delicious, but it's so expensive. Like, but it's good when you eat it, and then you want that in your life, and it's a healthy, beneficial. Not saying that all the fish aren't beneficial to eat, but
that omega-3.
But you'll see why. But salmon is very expensive when it comes to fish.
How omega-3?
Huh?
Alright, okay.
Omega-3. You're getting too detailed.
Yeah,
you're getting into the nutritional aspect.
That's my aspect.
Nick's a health and fitness major. For those at home.
But and we go lower tier. The lower tier, when we talk about thoughts and all those bitches that just pose on Instagram with the titties out and hey, I'm gonna like my shit.
Look at me with my purple lipstick and my starter cap.
And then they say and then they write some quote like, "You won't ever find someone as good as this."
No. Those aren't the quotes. The quotes are like blah 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 blah. Book of John, verse 1.
Is that or only God can judge?
Only God can judge me.
Literally.
Whoa. You know what Hub thinks? He thinks you are a thought.
Have you ever seen the one? Wait, have you ever seen the one?
His hand is descending from the clouds, going like thoughts.
No, you see like this, with the hands. Oh my God, God's handing me a piece of paper. What does it say? It says you are a thought. God spoke to me, but they say he said I was a thought.
I gotta take more Instagram photos. No, but there's a few things that when it comes to thought, like I don't know if you ever seen this, but some of them they'll be like, they make a quote like she is fearful. She is fierce. She is like this and she's like that.
Are you talking about Beyonce?
Yeah. And it's like,
bro,
you can tell. Yo, Nick is like standing up and he's walking around because he knows it's true. He knows it's true.
Because
based on my experience, that's what I see. Another thing that I do see, and women, I know you do it. Like, you do it on Snapchat every fucking day. You do that little video where you're like moving your head left and right, and then you're trying to be like,
you have the hearts all over your head.
Yeah, with the little doggy filter, with your little fucking, oh my little doggy. No, you a hoe, nigga.
You know what's funny? Well, I'm sorry, but one time I was on real quick. One time when I used to be on Tinder, and it's funny because I would swipe. That's when the doggy filter became really popular.
Yeah.
And then I kept seeing doggy filter.
That's weird, man.
Doggy filter, and then there came to a point where I was like, "Fuck it!" I did the classic Brock Mendoza. That's a story for another day. But I did the classic Brock Mendoza thing where I changed my profile. I was like, "I came here to meet women, but all I see is dogs."
It's just sad.
Bitch, I'm a dog.
Let's go back to the story.
But yeah, that's basically that we call that the tuna. That's that shit that you find like Star Kiss, Bumblebee,
Great value.
Great value. Great value is like your shit.
Great.
Like we can find you anywhere. We'll find you. We can spot you a mile away, and we're like, we got a coupon for that.
Where's your punch card? Where's your punch card? Yeah, you get 2 free pounds of great value tuna.
It's like, you see that go around the corner? Yeah, that's white albacore.
Mama, look, they got it for 25 cents per pound tuna. It's a
show your stock card.
It's a chunk light in water? Yeah.
Better not get that oil, boy. I don't want to see no oil.
It's lightly salted, so you know she's probably gonna be salty by the end of the night. So, anyways, going back to
no. When she has some money, she becomes Bumblebee Selects.
Bruh.
Damn.
Where's Charlie the tuna when you need him?
Dang, I got the picture ready. I have a picture on my phone like ready like every time they talk about Thots.
Because we have a group chat called the Olympus of Extraordinary Negus.
I met a woman named Negus. I couldn't stop. I couldn't.
Negus.
And she was a Caucasian female, and I really.
Sorry?
Yeah, seriously.
She like I was gonna say she Greek.
How old was she?
She was in her 50s or 60s.
She was in her 50s?
And I had to hold in my laugh because it was so ironic because thanks to Kendrick's album, one of the greatest albums of all time.
To Pimp a
Butterfly.
It's a moment of
he
silence.
explains Negus. And he says Negus was actually a word created by Africans. You know, this is from Swahili. You know, it's glorified as kings. You're like, wow, this woman's named Queen or King from the Swahili language.
She could have black family because there was even a movie about it with Anthony Hopkins. Wow, we keep going back to Sir Hopkins today. About Anthony Hopkins called The Human Stain, where it came out I think 2002, 2003. My mom told me about it. It's on Hulu right now. I think it's on Hulu. And he plays a college professor. And wow, now that I think about it, this is kind of like pre-today, with The Human Stain. Anthony Hopkins and Cocaine. Ed Harris is in it too. Ed Harris, obviously being Ed Harris, being the crazy Ed Harris character. Yep. He played, but anyway, Sir Anthony plays a college professor, and he gets in trouble for saying something allegedly racist in class one day and whatnot. So I think I don't know if Nicole Kidman is like a district person who's sent down like why'd you say something?
She's still fine.
Yeah. Oh no, she's still fine. But anyway, and he tells the story. Turns out, oh no, I am black. My mom is black. My dad is black. My whole family's black. I have a skin condition, and I just came out white because it's just one of those 1 in a million things that just happens, and I'm black. And that whole, I haven't seen it, but the way my mom was describing it, because she just loves because I don't like spoiling movies for her, and she's like, no, tell me, and I'm like, I don't like spoiling movies for her, but she always tells me the whole fucking movie, like the fucking Wikipedia page, like the whole thing, and she tells me the whole story of the movie. And now that I think about it now, I'm just like, man, that's where we are right now. Like, and people we're like Humongous. Remember Humongous?
Oh yeah.
Like with that chick in Humongous, it's like we and it turns out he's Hispanic.
Yeah, I love
He's Hispanic, and it's like you just don't know. You just don't know people's stories. Like right now the whole thing with Trump and whatnot. It's like, well, I don't know him personally.
He's orange.
But he just seems like a dick. I just don't know him Taylor Swift, I don't know her personally, but she just seems like a cunt.
No,
I'm gonna be honest.
She's a Thots.
You know what? She.
I can't confirm nor deny that.
I can neither confirm nor deny it. But I mean, it's true. And back to the thought thing, it's like there's so many things out there that are just conditioning young people to be Thots and be fuckboys. It's such a weird thing.
Is that the male equivalent? I just want to make sure the male equivalent is a fuckboy for a Thot.
Yeah, yes. No, it's been that. You should know that. I mean, come on.
You don't want to be a
We all have a fuckboy in our family, if not 7. And not just that, but we also have fuck fathers. You know, guys who just they create fuck boys. You know, it's just you see them, they're wearing the Adidas jumpsuit or something, not the right way. Oh, not the right way. You know, not the right way. You know, and then they got an earring. They're like 50 and they got an earring or something.
They got a fake stud in.
Yeah, they got a fake stud in.
Act like it was a real person.
Yeah, and they're Yankees fans allegedly.
Be like, what was your favorite year?
It's a Yankee, and I'm like, oh, que juega primera base. I don't know, man. I watch basketball. It's true. I've seen it. I've seen it because my dad loves sports, and he'll just be embarrassing people in the middle of the street. Oh, you see the game last week when A-Rod? It's like,
yeah, who's your favorite player that's not A-Rod?
Yeah, who's your favorite player that's not A-Rod? You know, who's your favorite player who isn't Dominican? Yeah, that's a better answer. It's like Dominican or Venezuelan. And it's like, fuck, are there? And
that'd be like Derek Jeter.
Are there even
Derek Jeter?
Well, Derek Jeter.
Last 15 years.
Yeah, no, I was like, they'll talk about.
Well, Derek Jeter's a half-foo.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a half-foo.
Oh, is he?
He's a half-foo. Yeah. I think his mom's black.
Mm-hmm.
His mom is his mom black?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his mom black. Well, he is a brother. He's a brother. He could come to the Olympus of Extraordinary Negus any time of the day.
That's why he hit the ball so good.
Yeah, that's like he hit the ball so good. And apparently, this is supposedly true. But back in his I guess we could call him fuckboy days. Back in his fuckboy days, when he's just sleeping around, he would leave his mates. He would leave his women baskets, gift baskets.
Wow.
Yeah, with like soap and
it's like, hey, thanks
perfume
so much.
and shit. It's like, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now get your shit together.
Thank you so much. Now get the fuck out of here.
Was it Bath and Body Works?
Yeah, I mean that sounds like some Tony Stark shit. You know what I mean? Not like but in Iron Man 3, we learned that he would just leave a note like, you know how I am. And he would just leave, you know, which I thought was weird.
You know how I do.
Remember Iron Man 3 in the flashback when he? It's like, you know how I am. And then he would just leave, and it's just like, what Tony? What the fuck?
I don't talk about that movie that much.
Yeah, we don't talk about Iron Man. We had a friend who would try to defend Iron Man 3 at every turn, and we were always 3 steps ahead of him.
Yeah.
It was a lost cause.
It was a lost cause.
But I will agree that you say how like people are conditioned to like be like that, because I mean not that they're conditioned to be like a fuckboy. It's just the fact that I see a state that if somebody acts like a fuckboy or a fuck girl or whatever, or thought whatever, like, and they do that to someone who's innocent, then they're gonna be the ones who, you know, do it because they have this oppression where this person hurt them, and they're like, oh well, fuck you. Like if I can't find happiness, so nobody can. Like. And there's this issue where like people don't like want to trust anybody else because of the fact that they can put all their trust on one person who like broke basically everything that they stood for, and like the more they keep doing that, people are not trying to find someone seriously. So that's what these fucking dating apps and crap are for. Like I mean, basically Tinder is basically like the fuckboy locator and the thought locator.
No, it was Snapchat Snapchat. Me and Karen had jokes about this.
That's the thought catalog.
No. Tinder's the thought catalog, but I said, God. Instagram is the thought locator. Okay. But Snapchat was the thought something. I remember I told you and we laughed about it, and then we kept thinking about, oh, well, what are all the other websites? It was thought. It wasn't a thought catalog. I think I told you. I was like, hold on, I'm on the thought thing. What was it? It wasn't catalog. It was thought
radar. Thought dar.
Yeah, it was thought radar.
The thought radar.
It
was a thought radar. It was. Hold on, I'm on the thought radar. Instagram was thought locator. Anyway, yeah.
Yes. One of them was thought radar. I know one of them was
thought radar. Yeah.
But
thought monitor. The thought monitor. That's what it was. The thought monitor.
Oh my God.
Hold on, I'm on the thought monitor.
Hashtag Snapchat's the thought monitor.
And Snapchat's the thought monitor. Shit.
I mean, but what is it? One of the things where like when you were talking about like the whole entire
aspects.
About like the whole thing. It's like I always see it as a cycle. Like it's always someone affected someone to become someone. And even if it wasn't that way, like they probably began the cycle themselves, maybe. Like, cause there are people who are like, you know what? I saw I can do something. Let's see how deep I can go. Like, legit. And that happens. Or, again, they got fucked over by that kind of person and they became this person. It's like, it always comes back to a whole psychological thing. I mean, it's like for the same reason why people are like, when they grow up to be anxious, they grow up to be very, I don't know. Like, I know there's also like the fact of maybe chemical imbalances, like, you know, when it comes to depression and shit, but like, you know, most things always have a start. Like, you know, something fucked them up from before to become like that. So I'd say the same thing for fuck boys and bots.
I mean, it's not.
Well, I'd say sort of, but that's one part. But the rest though, you just.
But I mean, it's not a good excuse. It's like, I got fucked up. Now I gotta fuck you over.
No. Listen, never confuse me here.
I'm not confusing you, but that's kind of the reason.
Yeah, exactly. That's terrible reason.
I'm gonna tell you guys.
You know, that's like.
Story time. Where's the synthesizer? We should have a jingle
with an explanation of how this thing can all kind of really started. I was in a relationship with a girl that honestly is a great example of how thoughting began.
Was her name Deborah?
Because think about it.
When
do you think thoughting began? It was like probably around 2013, 2014, around that time when we started using that term, right?
Yeah.
So now, unfortunately, since the internet's making us progress so quickly, that seems like a long time ago.
I didn't know what that word was. So
exactly. So, my ex-girlfriend way back when it was back in high school. This girl was a little bit self-conscious about herself. She knew she was attractive, but she wasn't like, oh, I'm like the shit, basically, right? And
maybe the little quarter sheet.
Oh my god.
She was confident.
So yeah, she became more confident just due to the fact that I just basically am saying like, no, you're cute. You have your head on your shoulders. Everything is doing pretty good, and you know you shouldn't be so down on yourself. So it was more of like an uplifting thing because it's kind of. These thoughting aspects or being a F-boy, fuck boy, all stems from basically not depression, but you know being quote unquote like a shy person or.
Just to stop you there, the depression, it wasn't meant that was a cause. I was just giving an example of something that could affect you from the past. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, no,
that's what I meant. I didn't mean that as depression.
Yeah,
I didn't mean that depression causes me a thought. That's not what I meant.
We don't want to offend, and we don't want to offend any.
We're getting really scientific about it.
We're just trying to shed light on what the fuck people are doing,
or why they
and
act
basically, what you should do is. Start taking risks. If you really think that you like somebody, or if you don't like somebody, take the risk. Talk to them. Stop being scared of trying to break. Like somebody gonna break your heart. There's gonna be everybody. Like you're gonna find someone that's gonna break your heart, and it doesn't have to be in a way that's conceived by love, because it could be your friend, it could be your mom, it could be your dad, it could be anybody that can break your heart. Honestly,
your fucking dog.
Yeah, your fucking dog, man. Yeah, dude. Like anybody can do it.
He bit my hand. I told him not to go in the neighbor's yard. He came out like fucking werewolf in London, like ah. And no, that happened to me today. I was like, get out the neighbor's yard, Toby, and he was like ah. He literally stood up. And everything, like, you know, it's just teeth and fangs and shit. And I didn't know how to react. I just stood there because I'd never seen that. I'd never seen that. I'd never seen him do that. My dad talked about it the other day, and I'm like, oh, Dad, you're being silly. And then I saw it with my own eyes, and it was like, hello, darkness, my
hello, darkness,
but it's true, like,
friend. I'm going to talk to you again.
You can see that in anybody. Like, anybody can do it. But then again, the same way that anybody can break your heart or lose your trust is the same way that people can gain your trust and find something great about you, and you can find love within that. So
but that's what I'm saying. Like basically, most of these people they were basically shy, or basically they had something going on, and that wasn't super deep and internal. But it's like, you know, when you get that uplifting moment, it's more of a question of, you know, how everything in life has a balance. So if you give yourself too much, it becomes really, really toxic. And unfortunately, we're at this point in time in life where stuff can get really toxic. And in that point is basically thoughting. And
well, there's your know your limits. You know, like don't
know your limits, Master Wayne.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
I'm not.
It was basically this case with this girl too, because she got to a point where she's like, okay, you know, I like being an attractive woman. I believe I'm an attractive woman, and to the point where she's like, no, I don't even need you anymore. and moved
That's
on.
fine.
And
That's fine. Yeah, dude, that's fine. I mean, I'm sorry that you have to experience that, but at least you're a better person for it. I'm assuming.
Oh, of course, no, yeah, because you learn from the experience of like this person took a good compliment, a good like uplifting thing to an extreme, and that's usually what most of these guys are doing.
But that's
now.
fine, yeah, because now she can do on her own, and she can take that wherever it takes her. She might have an eye-opening experience with someone else. You know what I mean? Like there's gonna be like you're gonna meet people that are gonna leave you. That people are gonna come and go.
Oh, that's for sure.
With no warning.
Exactly.
People are meant to be.
With no warning, it's gonna come right there and then, and you're gonna be like, I don't think my heart can take it. Like, but then you're gonna be like, well, sooner or later, it's gonna come for good reason.
Like, well, what the fuck even is this?
Okay, look at me, I'm still alive. Shit.
Yeah, like
I've been through a lot of that heartbreak.
Nigga, I've almost died 5 times.
I'm not affected by it. It's just like for me. It's just a good example of how you would see a girl go from, I'm happy with what I get, and even if it's like the greatest or the worst or whatever, it's like you're gonna find something good in that person to. I can pick and choose who I want, and this is something that's not new. This has been going on for years, even before we were born. It's just now.
Yeah, like remember the thing I said the other day. My dad was like, "Yeah, we had a lot of those in the 70s."
Honestly, the way I see it is just not saying.
It's just a transition of names.
Yeah, it's not that people don't want. I feel like people just make an excuse for themselves to not find love, because there are a lot of people, and you guys know this because you guys experienced it from me. That people say, "Hey, I want a relationship like you and me," and I'm like,
I don't want a relationship at all.
Well, I mean, you're
that's just me, That's
you're. I feel like personally, you don't need it. Like you don't need it.
Okay, because my relationship with myself has always been kind of tedious.
Yeah.
In her own way, like there's been moments where I've been my own worst enemy at times, and there's been times where I've kind of just like I've forgotten myself on purpose because like what even is self? You know what I mean? Like I always tell people, man, I've seen some shit. Like none of this matters to me because I've seen shit. I've seen things that's from the other fucking side. As corny as that sounds.
No, I get you.
And I've met people and I've seen people. I've seen people live. I've seen people die. To quote Blade Runner, I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Like the other day at work, like, they were talking about the whole Norwegian thing. Trump's like, oh, we want people from shithole countries, and people talking about it. And I was like, you know what? I stopped caring about politics when I had my first meditative experience. And because I realized that we're not really here. Because people are at their best when, like right now, just us being together, I love this moment because we're being together and we're really thinking about about what we see every day. We're really thinking about thoughts and the government and whatnot. You know what I mean? But individually, we all have these things that just won't leave us alone. You know what I mean? We all have our things that just keep clawing at our things we have to do. I have to do this, or I have to get a good grade on this exam, or like my job, or like these things, or like when you know what I mean, or like why is Monster Hunter being so annoying right now? You know what I mean. So why is Future in on the Black Panther soundtrack? You know what I mean. No disrespect to Future, but I feel like he's got his own thing. It just seems out of place.
Kendrick and J. Cole and
SZA is on it.
SZA's on it.
Anderson .Paak's on it. Okay. I'm really excited about it. I haven't heard it. It's out, but I haven't heard it because I like to hear the music in the movie.
The other dude that sounds like Kendrick.
I guess.
Yeah, but the thing is like I feel that like Men in Black. Like there's that scene where Kay is like, a person is smart, but people are dumb, dangerous animals. But I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like when everybody's together for a good reason, that's when we show our true selves. Because I don't believe in God. I'm just gonna be completely honest. This is something I've wrestled with my entire life. I don't believe in the Judeo-Christian Islamic idea of God. To put it simply, I believe in the Force. I mean, the name of me and Mo's band is Power Cosmic because I like that idea. I like the idea that there's that the cosmos is alive. There's this thing that flows through everything, flows through all of us. And I like to believe that there is a collective unconscious which is where we came from, and that's where we go when we die. And that's why, we have, the Mandela effect. That's why, all these cultures that never met, why they have sort of similar stories of similar creatures and similar figures. Because, I'm sure, the indigenous Colombian people, I'm sure they have their own version of Rumpelstiltskin. I'm pretty sure there has to be something similar. There's a lot of stories that have a Rumpelstiltskin type character who takes the kids away.
Well, actually, there is one of those stories.
There you fucking go.
About take the kids away?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know if you heard of. In Colombia, we're famous as like los duendes.
Yeah.
And los duendes, they're like trolls of the forest.
They're goblins.
The goblins.
Yeah, that's what duende means. Yeah.
Yeah, more like little miniature dwarves or trolls. So
yeah.
if the kids go too far into the forest without like telling their parents or anything, just going around and there's like basically. Just everywhere, just without them, and they go into the woods more. Into the woods. They will get caught and taken by los duendes.
Yeah.
And then another one is actually we have el hombre crocodilo, or the crocodile man.
Jesucristo cocodrilo.
There's a alleged Colombian called the crocodile man. And the crocodile man they will eat either kids or those are the duendes right there.
Yeah. Oh, they look lovely.
Yeah, they take kids. And then the crocodile man. And
do they eat the kids?
We don't know what they do with the kids.
That's some Jeepers Creepers shit.
Yeah, we don't know what they do with the kids. We don't want to know what they do with the kids. All we know is we want the kids back.
The kids don't want to know either. Where's my family?
Yeah. So basically,
all these cultures that never got in contact with each other. Well, we know the Vikings came over to America, but we know the Native Americans kind of drove them away because they're like, oh, arrows, and it's like, what, like you've never seen an arrow before? No, but they're killing everybody. We have to go back. Yeah, okay, let's go back. But that's kind of what I like to believe, and it's funny because we all have something that we really, really like that changed our life at one point or another.
It's awesome to say that.
Really, because I know for you it was anime, for you Star Wars and theme parks, for you synthwave. You're welcome, by the way.
Thank you.
And for you, because you love hip hop music, you make hip hop music. I'm sure it was hip hop.
It was. I think it's right.
Seriously though, it was a mix of synthwave and listening to Kid Cudi's album.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
That's a story for another day. Passion, Pain, Demon Slayer.
Hip hop and
that threw me. Threw me into an experience.
For me,
hip hop and Alan Watts.
But there's always the one thing where like as a young adult, like there's something that really fucking hits you as a young adult. And for me, it was Jodorowsky's Dune. The documentary about this guy. He's a Latino, actually, Chilean, Alejandro. He made a movie called El Topo, which is basically his version of a western. It's very cold. It's a very big cold movie, and another movie called The Holy Mountain, which, long story short, is about these guys who meet this wise man played by Alejandro. And the whole point of the movie is like they're trying to find enlightenment, and at the end of the day, he was just trolling them. He's like, why are you worrying about this stuff, man? You were people. You just live your life. There's one scene in the movie where he's like, take a shit in this machine. And the guy takes a shit in the machine, and in the machine with some alchemy shit, it turns the shit into gold. And he's like, you are excrement, but you can become gold. You know what I mean? And that's what Jodorowsky's about. That's what Jodorowsky's about. He's very blunt, and he's always like, and with Dune, I don't know if have any of you seen the David Lynch movie, Dune?
It's been a while since I've seen that.
I don't think I remember.
What was the big ass worms in the desert and
that's
based off of the Frank Herbert book. Well, he wanted to make the movie back in 1975. I've actually been meaning to buy the documentary so we could all watch it. That we could do a podcast about us watching it and whatnot. But anyway, he really wanted to make this movie, even though he didn't understand Dune. He didn't even read Dune. He's like, no, I didn't read Dune. My friend told me what Dune was about, and I was like, oh, it's great. I made a movie about it. And his version of the movie was like this big thing. It was gonna be a 15-hour long movie.
15 hours.
15 hours. Pink Floyd and Magma were gonna make the music, and he was gonna have Orson Welles in it, and Salvador Dali, and all these things. Mobius, the greatest French comic book artist of all time, he did the concept art along with David O'Bannon, who did visual effects for Alien, and H.R. Giger, who designed the alien for Alien. Yeah, he met them all randomly, and then he's like, oh, let's make this movie. They worked on this movie for 2 years. He had a big-ass book, which was like 1,000 pages, with all the concept art. This was like before concept art was like a big thing. We're like, oh, we gotta have concept art. They broke new ground with this thing. He had this big old book. He made like 12 copies. He sent 7 out to studios and kept a few. Some collectors have it now, and people are always like, please publish it. We want it. We don't care if we have to pay $100. We'll pay it because this movie is genius. And the studio said no. Every single studio he went to, Paramount, Warner Bros., they all said no, and he was distraught by this because, as he says, he's like, movies have power. Movies can open your mind. I wanted to change the world with this movie because the ending of the movie was going to be the hero was basically going to die, but his soul is so powerful that he connects everybody spiritually, and they all see everything. They all become one hive mind, and they all become one with the universe, and that's how he saves the day. He doesn't save the day by shooting people. He saves the day by opening people's minds, people's hearts. And that's what Jodorowsky wanted to do with this movie, and Hollywood said no because it's 15 fucking hours. You know how many fucking reels that is, man? I mean, come on, we can't do that. And then David Lynch did it, and this man was distraught it's been almost 40 years, and he's still sad about it. He's still sad, but he keeps going. He's almost 90, but he's still making movies. He made comic books that are really cool, like the Meta Barons, the Inkle. But anyway, and that's the thing that really affected me. Where like I'm doing all these things. I'm doing this podcast. I'm doing the synthesizer music. I'm doing all these things because I feel like I want to do that. I would like to do that. I would like to see if I can open people's minds and hearts and make them see galaxies and shit.
Well, you're doing it now, now.
Yeah, I guess I'm doing it now. I'm going off on a tangent, but fucking Akil's like, oh, cool. And that's the thing that changed me. And I saw this thing I saw it on Cody. Actually, yeah, Cody niggas. We Cody niggas. Secret. But and I really got me, really affected me. And then I started reading the Meta Barons. As you guys know, I fucking love the Meta Barons. But anyway, that's kind of, because going back to what you said, oh no, we're not trying to offend anybody. I mean, this is all you thought our comedy is satire. Because all our skits that you're probably going to see, if you don't see them before this, because our schedules are busy, but everything we do is satire, and I think satire is the best way to open people's minds. I mean, like Dave Chappelle said, everybody's turning into bitch-ass niggas. It's a hard time for comedy.
Way to go being deep right now.
Yeah.
That's true, though.
It's a hard time for comedy. The point of comedy is
the Salem witch trials,
you laugh so you don't cry.
The more these SCWs win, the more we can't laugh.
Think about comedy also. Like, you laugh at yourself. Like, let's say, just take out, take out like racism, whatever, man. You laugh at whatever stupid qualities anyone has. Yeah. Like, you laugh at yourself, you laugh at someone else, but that's the thing about comedy. It's a joke, and you guys understand each other, Like, I don't know, man. I don't know what the big fucking deal is sometimes, but
I feel like people are becoming more close-minded in regards to how not serious comedy can be. It's like it's not supposed to take hits at a culture, a race, a gender, whatever. It's just making some jokes.
And in a way, they make observations.
Yeah,
too.
It's like did you notice that you do, like, people do this and some people do that? It's like, oh yeah,
it's hilarious.
Yeah, like Louis, remember that thing that I showed you guys with the milk, where it was like the JoJo thing where it was dubbed and Louis Black. It's like acidopolis milk. Milk doesn't need a friend. That's like one of my favorite Louis Black things. Everyone's like, lactose intolerant milk, kiss my dick. You know what I mean? Like, it's just funny, but it makes you thinking, like, why do we need so much milk? We don't need different types of milk.
Cultures is my favorite.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? When you go to the
lactose intolerant, I guess, but they're not supposed to touch milk. They're not even supposed to think about milk.
Right. They can just get goat milk, right?
No, you get soy milk.
Dude, it's like now that we got into the subject of comedy. Like, before I went to UCF today, I watched half of this, but they had like the Def Jam.
Def Comedy Jam. The new one. So
I was watching it. I only watched half of it though. It's funny, like, talking about like the kinds of jokes, like, where you start to like, point out things, because, like, I don't know, man, like, I don't know if it was Dave Chappelle or I don't know who it was, but they were showing old clips of like things they said. And I mean, look at how they could get away with this stuff. It was funny, because the one I heard, I think the guy was like See, he's like, you know, you see a black man getting beaten up by the police. White people are the ones going crazy, going like, oh my god, while I was over there going like, is this a fucking Timex commercial? Like, I was like, whoa, like, you know, they could say shit like that, like, you know what I mean? And everybody gets it, man. Like, I see every kind of person there just laughing their heads off, you know, like, who gives a shit? Who? But, you know, say a joke like that right now and people are like,
what you hear is like, what you hear is like, we're not allowed to be outraged? Is that what you think?
Like,
we're not allowed to, you know.
Back then, everybody would laugh at it.
How can you say the N-word and I can't? When did this become the subject? We were talking about police brutality. No one said the N-word, Mr. Feinstein.
Yeah, but it was insane.
Yeah,
because actually, I think it was
Feinstein.
Yeah, even though he was, I think it was the Netflix series, the specials that didn't he mention that he was? I think it was the first part of that collection. He even mentioned he went. I don't know where he went to go do the stand up, but the thing was a woman went walking toward him, going like, "That's a peasant" or something. Like,
that was the first one. That was the first one he did.
What the fuck?
That one was great.
That's what I'm telling you, man. People are so.
And the third one he did about transgenders, where he was talking, because the first one was he was talking about transgenders. Like, transgenders are gangsters. He's like, hey, it's ladies' night at the club. You know what we gonna do? How about we cut our dicks off? That's fucking hilarious, you know. But it's not. The thing is, it's not making fun of. Because the thing is, it's tricky because he's not talking shit about the experience that these people go through. He's just making a joke that came to him that was inspired by seeing transgender people.
Yeah, of course.
And he was like, transgenders are gangsters. You know, that whole thing, that's a setup, you know. It's not like he's saying, oh, fuck transgenders. It's not like
that's
he's saying
not
that
what
at all.
Is, yeah.
Like, comment, that's not kind. That's being an asshole.
It's like, for example, like, I make fun of you, but I'm not talking shit about you.
Exactly.
You know? Like, I'm not like, it's like.
Exactly.
He's not talking shit about Dominicans, you know?
No, yeah.
Like, I like the Mangu.
The Mangu, yeah,
like, It's like people are so entitled about specific assets about them that they had no control over. Like their color. Like like you chose your color. Like, okay. What are you doing?
Akil is showing us his hairy ass stomach.
Are
you hungry?
He said this podcast needs a little skin.
We're talking about color. I'm gonna show him some skin.
I'm gonna show him some skin, even though they can't see. Well, they're seeing through their ears. Seeing through their ears. They're opening their minds.
That melatonin.
Podcast to X-Hamster.
X-Hamster.
That melatonin.
Oh, that's the one you use.
No.
X-Hamster confirmed.
I didn't really like X-Hamster, to be honest.
Oh my god, of course you would.
I stick to Pornhub. And Pornhub is nice to give you achievements. That's cool. They make you feel like you're not wasting your time.
Because you sat down watching 1,000 hours of porn?
Yeah.
Like, you
It's
know,
a great fucking job.
No.
It's like, coño, man. It's like, because we've all had that moment where we watch porn and we masturbate to it, and then we feel like shit afterwards.
No. The best.
We've all had that. I mean, I don't do that anymore.
Why don't you just give an achievement for being like, here's 20 times that you feel like a piece of shit after you threw your semen out.
Yeah.
God, I could imagine like Mo with an account and then like you know you're saying,
No.
this is
Wait a second.
700th hentai video.
It's like here we are presenting the award for Pornhub uses the hentai emperor. Here is your badge for watching the most hentai videos, and thank you, sick fuck.
They call him the Tentacle Lord.
They call him the H.P. Lovecraft.
They call me Cthulhu, bitch.
We're calling you H.P. Lovecraft from now on.
God damn. Mo goes to grab like the trophy, and like he touches the person's hand. Quita la mano. It's like,
that's another inside
You
joke.
know, you guys got it all wrong. They would. They
just
won't
fell on
give you
the
the award.
couch.
They won't give you the award for how much hentai you're watching. They'd award you for actually completing a video.
shit.
No.
You know that you're talking.
I do watch the whole thing sometimes. I do watch the whole thing sometimes.
For him, it's the story, so of course I watched the whole video.
Your story and real.
Bro, that's only 12
It's
minutes.
art.
They're talking about the 30-minute one.
I watched the 30-minute one.
But there's a story in everything.
Yeah, like now the big thing now is apparently I saw an article about this the other day because I think someone was telling me about it, how like there's like new all these new porn subcategories that are becoming really popular, and it's funny how hentai is, it gained such popularity mostly because of our generation, because it was like, I wonder what Sakura's titties look like, you know what I mean, or some shit.
What titties?
There's some shit. There's a joke. Yeah,
true.
Yeah, but but the thing is, like, now apparently there's a new type of porn called faucest. Or taboo porn.
What is that?
Where it's like
it's like family,
basically
like
incest role play.
No.
Yeah. And apparently that's where all the money's at. Apparently, especially for MILF performers, they role play as the mom or something,
I draw the line.
And then they have the daddy-daughter thing, but I mean, you still hear daddy in regular porn. I mean, come on,
yeah,
it's not that special.
I think. I don't know, like
pay for my tuition, daddy. Daddy, please. You know what I mean? So it's weird.
That's like real close.
I know.
Talking about
daddy-daughter porn.
So it's weird, and my thing is like I don't like being called daddy whatsoever. I don't even like being called papi. Like, hey papi. I'm like, mira, no. Déjame esa mierda por allá. No. ¿Qué clase porquería?
No, man.
That's for our Puerto Rican viewers.
Like they said, man. Like they're saying right now, like your kids are gonna have to call you bro.
My kids are gonna have to call me bro. I mean, no, just call me Mushroom Lord. Just call me Mushroom Lord. Yeah, Mushroom Lord. Am I getting a cell phone for Christmas? No, you're getting colored pencils and a bicycle. That's what you're gonna get.
Cell phone. Yeah, I didn't earn a cell phone till I was.
Ew. You've been watching taboo porn. So I was curious, and I have gone and I've seen some of the stuff, and it's just fucking, because like I told you guys before, like, I don't masturbate to porn anymore. I watch it because it's funny.
Exactly.
It's just funny. It's just funny. It's funny. It's just like bad boob jobs and horrible writing everywhere. My pipes are clogged.
Which one?
Let's unclog those pipes. And then it cuts immediately to him getting his dick sucked. I'm like, wait, what the fuck happened?
There's something wrong with this pipe. What? It's not on your asshole.
It's not on your asshole.
See, I would definitely save this one for another time, because I always wanted to explain this to these guys. It's the sphincter. Black.com.
You know what? I checked it out the other day. Fucking hilarious.
I know, right?
Fucking, you see these guys looking like they just walked out of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yo, like,
and you see like these tiny ass white. You don't even see pogs. You just see these tiny ass white girls.
Yeah, she's like right there.
Here's
like,
a great.
And I'm like, oh my god, you poor thing.
So here's a story about Black.
I'm gonna enjoy watching this, as misogynistic as this sounds, but I'm just fascinated. How is this? What are the physics here?
Here's
how is this possible? That's like 10. Like 10, 12. That's the size of my fucking shoe.
Here's the thing about Black.com. I always say that porn is kind of like watching your typical Thursday night ER drama.
What?
All right, so there's a sketch from Mad TV that says.
So you're comparing Black.com to General Hospital?
Let me finish. Nigga, that's so popular.
Grey's Anatomy.
So,
do we really even work here?
When House was still on and ER was still on.
I fucking loved House.
So back then they used to say, House is a show made by men, made by women for men that hates women, and ER is made by women that loves men that's made for women. So that's all. I was like, okay, that's the same thing with porn. It sounds like
House is written by women in a perspective of men who are misogynistic.
Yes.
Okay.
Because House, he liked prostitutes. He always hit on his boss and his fellow employees. And then he's saying that ER is written by men who love women, because let's face it, women fucking love that shit.
Yeah.
They love like, oh, McDream. Wait, that's Grey's Anatomy. Oh, McDreamy. Oh, George Clooney with your horrible mullet back in '89. Yeah, he was on ER. He was on ER.
He was like the first couple.
So it's the same thing. Didn't they have that on an episode of Friends? I remember.
Yeah.
Like they had
that nigga's been looking 50 since he was like 30.
Yeah.
That's weird. Like,
because
he's permanently 50.
Yeah.
So, he's so tan though. That's my thing. I'm like shit, nigga, damn.
He's always been salt and pepper.
Yeah, George Clooney, if you're watching, I don't think you're allowed to say that yet, but it's just
never change.
So yes,
they never change who you are.
Florida applies the same way as Thursday night ER drama, which is basically like you can tell each site what it's made for. Like, say, I was saying Black.com is made for Caucasian white women, or pretty much white women that like black men that really are interested in going deep into seeing.
So deep their eyes roll back.
They're going deep into like what it is to date a black guy. And, you know, if they're worth.
Ask a black guy.
If they're worth going out with, which is a very interesting thing, because I'm like, because even for me, like, you know, growing up as a black guy, who grew up in a black neighborhood and seeing now more and more interracial couples, I'm like, you know what? I wonder why. And then you have this thing, and it's like the most ridiculously funny thing, like the funniest story. You know, my best friend was so great, but then her boyfriend came over here, and he was this black guy, and I just couldn't stop. He was so into me. I'm like, this is ridiculous. It just sounds so freaking funny. Yeah. Porn is more comedic than most comedy films nowadays. So, you know,
because I mean,
dude, that's so true.
Because I mean, I was talking about this the other day. Because all comedies are just follow the same formula. Like presenting man-child. Man-child gets into trouble. Man-child makes his way out of trouble. Man-child learns lesson. End of movie. It might get a sequel. And in the sequel, man-child still kind of has not learned anything. Or maybe he has a new lesson to learn. Gets into even more shenanigans. Learns another lesson. End of movie. You know what I mean?
What do we have? The pacifier.
The pacifier.
God damn, I remember that movie.
I am Groot. No, but I have to agree with you there.
You know what's funny? He gets his own version of the script where all of Groot's lines are actually written out.
Really?
Like he knows what Groot is saying. It's just that he just has to say I am Groot. But like he knows what he's saying, so he could say it in a way where it's like fuck you.
Oh, like
I am
R2D2.
Groot. Yeah, like R2D2. Yeah.
I am Groot.
I am Groot. I like that when he was Teen Groot. I am Groot. That shit made me laugh. That shit made me fucking laugh.
Oh, like somebody slapped his child.
Somebody slapped his child. Now I know what Yondu felt like.
All right.
It's gonna be interesting to see in Infinity War. You know, in Teenage Groot.
You know, I don't know why, but I just still the second Guardians of the Galaxy, like, it still bothered me the part with Yondu. Like, I don't know, it did. I don't like. It's not because I know in the first one, like they talked about it a bit, and I get like the second one was more of a whole like, oh, not necessarily like, you know, your blood family is always gonna be your family. You saw how big of a dick his dad was, anyway. Right, but the thing that really got me was just kind of think like. I don't know. I feel like when they start bringing Yondu there, like I don't know, it didn't feel as impactful as I thought it would. Because I mean, sure, you have like what you know from the first Guardians, and then maybe the little snippets they put in there, like of him like teaching him how to shoot or whatever. Like you're like, oh, that sucks, and we're like, I'm sorry you died, but he didn't like give me that feeling of like you know, because you know that's you know you want to feel that's I don't know. It just didn't invoke that.
I mean, it's subjective, you know. It's subjective.
You don't kill tertiary characters in the second film. You can kill secondary characters. You can kill primary characters. Most likely, it's always better to kill primary characters.
Oh no,
never. And unfortunately, I gotta say, Yondu is a tertiary character. He kind of barely in the first film.
Yeah, he was barely in the first film.
And they try to build him up more to who his character is in this film to understand why he such a.
And they worked him in the Rocket's story arc because Rocket, much like Drax, they didn't really have a lot to do. But the thing is that what I like about the second one is that unlike a lot of Marvel movies, they gave everybody not closure is not the word, but like everybody's arc got to where it was supposed to be. Like you know they completion. You know like everybody like Gamora with her sister. And then, you know, Star-Lord... Star-Lord learned about his dad, figured out his dad was a dick. He's like, you know, these guys aren't my family. Yondu, he raised me, you know. And Rocket's like, yeah, I'm a fucking dick because I don't know how to express myself. And Groot,
Groot's Groot.
And Drax is like, yeah, I'm ruined. I'm destroyed. My whole family was murdered by that purple asshole. And I'm surprised I'm even standing. And like when Mantis touches him, she's like, oh my god, how are you even alive right now? You're fucking. And he's just like, I don't know. It's just it's these guys, you know. They I don't know. I feel happy when I'm with them. Hence my overacted laughter. Yeah. And every fucking.
That was the funniest thing.
Do me. She just revealed your deepest, darkest secret. You must be so embarrassed. We're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy. Juan wanted to go take a shit.
I mean,
Yeah, but anyway, but they had closure because like Tony and because here's my problem with the Iron Man movies. Tony never learned anything. Like he's still learning shit.
He's still the same.
Like with Civil War, it was like Civil War is one of my favorites, but I feel like still like nobody really learned anything. That's the whole point of the movie. I think Black Panther's arc in that movie is really cool, and Zemo's arc, even though I had my things with like Zemo because he's not wearing a mask. Fuck it. But what I like about their arcs is like ultimately what they're saying is like, yeah, all your arguments are meaningless. Like at the end of the day, they're meaningless because these are people get hurt, people really fucking die. You know, this is really important shit. Like we have to set an example, you know, and that doesn't necessarily mean not signing up with the government. Doesn't necessarily mean signing up with the government. That just means like, hey, we just have to do the right thing, you know, which is you know. But then again, you know, Black Panther has diplomatic immunity because you know, Wakanda.
Oh
Yeah. We was Wakandans.
Move or you will be moved.
Move or you will be moved. We've been waiting for that fucking movie since he fucking showed up. Like we've been waiting for it, man. Like y'all got any more of that Black Panther? Y'all got any more of that Black Panther?
I just remember the one part from Avengers.
Yeah.
No, was Avengers Civil War? It's like, I was like, I'm Hawkeye. I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care. And I'm like, damn.
I don't think we met.
I don't think we met. I love Hawkeye. Hawkeye's a great. I hope he sticks around.
I don't care.
Supposedly Jeremy Renner's sticking around, but Scarlett apparently her contract's up. Robert Downey Jr.'s contract apparently was up a long time ago.
Infinity War.
Infinity War, yeah.
She's in Infinity War though, isn't she?
Yeah, but
after Infinity War.
Yeah, but like her contract supposedly, and like, but they're making supposedly a Black Widow movie, but I think it's too late. No one cares.
We'll probably do another way where she's blonde, where her under Natalia.
I mean, isn't she blonde on this in Infinity War?
Well, it's kind of like icy.
Oh yeah, you're right.
She's gonna be blonde in Infinity War.
Oh really?
My thing, I'd rather see a Scarlet Witch movie. I think Scarlet Witch is a much more interesting character.
No, just put her in X-Men so we can get it.
You and then Magneto's like, you are my children.
Get it over.
They're like, who? And they're like, who is that loud Jewish man?
Be like, where's Pietro? Oh well, he died. Oh, I can save him.
Well, anyway, my computer's dying. So,
Wow.
and I'm sure we're all hungry. The thing we were gonna do the wrap up every fucking podcast is that we were basically gonna improvise a skit. We would just spitball skit ideas, but I feel like that would take way too long.
We'll do it. Can we do a quick one?
No,
a quick one?
We'll do another.
A quick one.
No, because the thing about here's the thing. When we say quick one, and we're gonna be thinking about skits.
Yeah.
We're gonna go into so much explanation. We're gonna be like, wait, what if this comes? Blah, 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 and then we're gonna be like, never leaving.
Yeah.
And then his computer.
We'll save that for the next podcast.
Yeah, next podcast. Because that would be great. Like, because we can get the skits that we're already working on, and then next we'll be like, all right.
I hear them. So before
I uploaded one on the drive yesterday. If you haven't heard.
All right. We'll give you a quick rundown for what's coming up. We already have.
Hold my dick.
So first one probably is gonna be up. It's gonna be Hold My Dick skit. It's more of a self-explanatory one. Just think about it. You probably will laugh. Second one will be not another Let's Play.
Hold My Dick, written by me, and then Nick did how's that coming along, by the way?
No, like I told you, I have the script pretty much all out. It's just the thing is, I just camera. That's all we really want.
Which I am.
Because the thing is, I need to get footage of him and footage of my brother.
Long story short, kids, pay your taxes.
Mo's trying to get a camera.
I need to file my tax return. I legit do, yeah.
I'm still waiting on.
You got your W-2?
Final.
I got 2 of them. I'm missing.
You got 2? Oh, I got one from Golden Corral, and that's pretty much it.
That's it.
Yeah, but I mean,
TurboTax, man.
TurboTax. Actually, I have somebody. Who's doing it. She does my parents' taxes every year.
I used to go to the one by BPL, but then I moved so.
Talking about Texas. Yeah, and then we have Help a Brother Out Foundation, written by Akio.
Yes.
Thanks
to school, it's been slowing me down a little bit, but that is probably going to be one of our third videos, and then we're going to take another break.
And then our tour de force, which is what I guess we call it our first magnum opus.
Yeah.
Which we're working on piece by piece, and I like that we're working on it piece by piece, and we're taking our time with it. Because the script is pretty. You all like the script. which I'm very happy. It's called Mr. Glasper. It's basically a mockumentary short film. If you follow us on social media, you'll know. Or if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that the sloth head that makes a lot of appearances in our things. That's what it is. That's what it is. And so we're really excited about that.
Yeah.
And,
Well, of course, you'll see this at the beginning. You already saw it at the beginning of the video.
Yeah, you saw some of the bloopers for that.
And of course,
sorry for throwing the script at you.
just follow us on Instagram.
Love you too.
At OU Thought Insta, and follow us on Facebook. Also as OU
on
Thoughts.
Facebook, and if you want, you can follow us individually. We'll probably put the links down at the bottom. At D Mushroom Lord, at Talon Keezy. Talon Keezy, that's what it is.
Yep.
Just straight.
Talon Keezy.
Just at Talon Keezy, and then
we're going by our Instagram. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Synth Night for me.
Synth Night, but it's Synth _ Night.
Nope,
right?
Synth Night.
Oh, it's just at Synth Night, and then at Otaku Chef Mo. Right?
There, Otaku Chef
At
Mo.
Otaku Chef Mo. That'll probably be the story for the next podcast.
Let's make this more interesting. So basically, follow us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We got Simp Night, Talon Keezy, the Mushroom Lord, Otaku Chef Mo,
Juan and a Million.
Special guest today, Juan a Million.
Make sure to follow our buddies at KotakuOtaku.
Everyone.
Yeah,
follow us. Follow OU Thoughts.
You guys are having your shit up soon, right?
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
Super soon.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna try to get this up soon.
All I gotta say is I'm really loving one of our teammates. Mikey.
Yeah.
Love that guy, man. His editing, it's like on point.
It's like magic.
We're getting more. We're trying to do more. We're trying to invest on a few items, so we can do more videos. But it's coming along really nice. I'm really happy where we're going right now, the direction that we're taking. So I hope that you guys support both OU Dot and also KotakuOtaku, because we're gonna do some big stuff here
this year.
And it's not like I'm gonna be
the features are
coming here like once in a blue moon. I'll be interacting as well. So
and vice versa, man.
Did you just snort coke?
Yeah, that Colombian. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. And he's bringing it around town.
We talked about it.
What did we talk about?
Also, look out soon. Our project, our project, Pyrocosmic.
Music by Pyrocosmic.
Music by Pyrocosmic. Synthesizers, guitars, cool sounds. Like I said, I've been thinking about maybe getting another synthesizer. Yeah, maybe.
You can never have too many.
Well, you can never have too many because we could use another one, especially if we're using that one for sequence.
Right now, just end up. I can't get too many of food. Let's go.
Oh yeah, it's 9:46 here in Florida, so our official goodbye. Thank you for joining us at OU Thought, the podcast, and as always, stay safe and stay woke.